Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Adam here with Indy Farm Life. Doesn't this kind of look a little sad? I mean, it's still beautiful, but if you compare this to what it looked like early in the spring, it's a little heartbreaking. I'm gonna give you guys what's probably the final update of 2023 on the pond. So as we stand out here on the far north end of the pond, you can see where the water line was cutting through here in the early spring, and I'll highlight that much better over there in the overflow. We haven't seen rain in a minute, and our pond shows. Tell the deer like to come in here though, for sure. So given that the water is this low right now, I want to put a couple stakes in the ground and highlight from now until next spring how the water moves. So if you guys have been with the channel for a while, you know that we don't have a large watershed feeding this pond. Maybe 4 acres in total, and it really just collects off that 4 acres plus rainwater. No stream, no tributary feeding it, so we're not bringing a lot of bad nutrients into the pond, which is fantastic, keep the algae levels down, but it also is very apparent when we have dry spells. The water is still very beautiful, there's just not a ton of it. And I do love how it looks like an ocean. You kind of see like a shelf here, and then it drops off in the deep where the light can't quite make it down. Let's make our way around over to the dock. Standing over here by the aerator, which is, by the way, still running strong after over a year and a half, 24/7 running. So that thing's been awesome. But as you look along the shoreline here, you can see where the water had cut in the springtime and is now receded. Long term, this is all gonna get riprap all the way around. And I say long term because if you guys have been with the channel for a while, you know that I have a number of projects for the pond that somehow never seem to all get done. For example, my fish habitat, it's still sitting over there on my trailer. All those barrels, IBC totes, and PVC are gonna get turned into fish habitat and dropped in the pond at some point. Those are not my tire tracks. We have trespassers. The beach has been fantastic. You saw us out here with some of our YouTube friends this past summer enjoying this. One thing we didn't see we did this spring was expand it by like another 35 or 40 feet. So previously the beach stopped at this post here, but we decided to take it all the way out. Just gives us more room for pop-ups and canopies and just generally more room for the kids to play. But the beach is awesome. Hopefully Adam from Hometown Eggers and Kyle from Spicer Designs come back next summer. And hopefully Doug from One Eye Customs can join them next summer. All right, let's take a look at this overflow. So if you guys are familiar with our pond or been around the channel for a while, you know this is our overflow, which has never seen water go down it. Hasn't been that high yet. Our high water mark was this past spring. It was right about these ropes. You can kind of see where the dirty water made its way up and then stops, and where there's all kind of still fresh paint. So right about those ropes is where the high water mark was. And you can imagine when you got water up that high, how big this looks. Oh, that's a little soggy right there. Let's see if we can't guesstimate how much water we lost in evaporation this year. Tell you what, this is actually going downhill, if anything. So let's use this as our line off the top of the overflow. We'll measure down. Looks like that's about a 5-inch drop. So my finger's right there at 2 feet. Yeah, so man, this is probably right at about 2 feet of water that we've lost since the spring. And what's crazy is that doesn't even take into account all the rainwater we've had that pushed this back up. An acre foot of water is, I think, 326,000 gallons. Just think about that for a minute. So that means, guys, that through evaporation, because I know that this pond is not leaking. If you saw the build, this is 100% clay. We are not leaking from the bottom, and we don't have a dam. So that means that we have lost, at minimum, over 650,000 gallons of water due to evaporation. Not even counting every inch of rain that went back into this over the summer and spring. And an inch of rain is 27,000 gallons and change. So every inch of rain we get, we're adding 27 some odd thousand gallons to it. But net, we're down about 650,000 gallons. And so let's say we had 10 inches of rain this summer. I know it was way more than that. That's another 270,000 gallons of water. So we're likely talking about at least 1 million gallons of water leaving this pond from spring to fall. That's mind-boggling. But it also then gives you a sense of just how much water is actually here. I would bet my bottom dollar that out there by the aerator, it's still 19 feet deep or so. All right, October of 23, let's put a couple stakes in the ground. Tell you, I don't have my fish habitat in here, but I do see a ton of minnows swimming around. All right, got one there and there. I'm gonna mosey out by the cut out there and stick 1 or 2 in. But yeah, like I said, water was up there in the springtime. So you imagine, you carry that around, how much different it looks. So as we look across there, we can see the 2 stakes out in that corner. Got a pair of them here, and then 1 on each side of the gangway here. But I wanted to give you guys a look at how low the pond is as we sit here mid-October of 2023. Like I said before, this pond is not fed by much, and so we see it go up and down quite a bit. So next spring, we will, I promise, get the habitat in the water. Might make the fishing a little bit better. When we do that, I think what I'm going to do though is employ the help of my buddies Chris and Nick, and we are going to take one of the rails off of the dock, tie rope to one side here and the other side, and have people on opposite ends of the pond to be able to move this thing around and position it, because those are IBC totes, guys. Going to be incredibly hard to take those out on that little John boat and not fall in and get them where you want them. So we'll stage everything on here, take one of the rails off, take this out like a floating barge, and get things where we want them. So you may not see the pond yet again this fall, but the gist of it is 1 million gallons. 1 million gallons of water lost when you count what has also come into it this year. So with that said, I think the decree should be, I would like 1 million subscribers, and then 1 million of you guys bring me a gallon of water, we're back in business. Seems like the rational way to do this, right? And here's a better shot of the fish habitat. Someone please in the comments let me know how many videos have you heard me talk about doing this. And by this I mean building fish habitat. But I'll say, come on, kudos to me, right? At least now it's all in one location, bundled up, ready to go. But just lots of old PVC laying around, some conduit, these barrels, gonna use some of the drainage pipe, because it's about the journey, not the destination. And on that journey, I gotta fix that thing too. Get tired just thinking about it. All right, guys, I'm out. Take care. We'll see you next time.